Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we're here to talk about my monthly goals. Every month I sit down and share with you how last month's goals went and all the goals I have set for the upcoming month. And I am just gonna jump right into it because these videos always turn out to be super long. I just have a lot to say about goals, all right? So let's jump right into it and start with March. I set out to have an incredibly ambitious March. I set a lot of goals and I was super pumped and excited and ready to go hard in March. And the universe was just like, no, you need to take a break. Like, you were just a little bit too ambitious. So you'll see that March did not turn out the way that I had originally planned. And it is what it is. There's just gonna be months that are better than others. And March was still a great month in a lot of ways. It was also a really hard month in a lot of ways. I'm sure that you can relate that things are just kind of crazy right now. And it is reflected in what I did not do in the month of March. So let's start with the monthly action items. The first one was to do the quarterly refresh. I obviously did this because I filmed a video about it. If you didn't see that video, it went up a few weeks ago where I basically did this exact same thing except on a quarterly basis. So I talked about all my quarter one goals and all of the goals that I have set for quarter two, which will be reflected in my April goals. For both my quarter two goals and subsequently my April goals, I acted as if nothing is gonna change, as if this new normal is going to be this way until the end of the quarter. Now, I hope that that's not the case. I hope that we are not still in this situation where we are all working at home and social distancing through the end of June, but that is how I chose to set my goals. And I talked about this a little bit more in the goals roadblock video that went up earlier this week. I talked about how I chose to set my goals even though the future is uncertain, acting as if this is the way that it's going to be, because then even if it does change for the better, I can still make progress on those goals. All right, the next monthly item was to do my monthly analytics. I did not do that one. There was one week in March that I was basically a useless human and I did nothing for a week. I was very upset and mentally not good and unmotivated, and that is where it was scheduled, and so it did not happen that week. And I decided, instead of trying to squeeze it in through the end of March, I was gonna do it just to do it and be able to check it off. That is one of those things that is moving to April. You will notice there are a lot of things like that are just getting moved to April. The next one was the Plan with Lakin meetup, and that unfortunately had to get rescheduled. Right now it is rescheduled for June. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to make that happen in June, but if we can't, I will continue to reschedule it until we can make it happen. But for this month, I just crossed it off. The next one was to research and email photographers, and then I added a little checkbox next to it because not only did we research and email photographers, but we had calls with 6 of them and booked one. That is the one thing that makes me feel like March was successful. Well, there were others, but that was a big part of making March feel successful. Is earlier in the month when I still had motivation, I was emailing with the photographers, and that's when Sam started working from home, and I was like, well, that's perfect. He has to be home by 7. So I started scheduling them, 1 for 7 and 1 for 8 for 3 days in a row, and we did 2 calls at 7 and at 8, and it was just like, it was perfect. And we banged them out and we picked one, booked her. It was awesome. So that is the one thing that I'm super proud of. All right, the next one was to order the save the dates, and then I even added to finish the guest list on here because I chose save the dates and I started designing them. I plopped in the picture and the words and all the things, and I decided to go with a company that's gonna put the addresses on them for me. I don't know if that's normal or not, but that's what is happening. And so we need to finish the guest list and gather all the addresses before I can order the save the dates. I thought I was going to be able to do that in a reverse order. I don't know what I was thinking. Neither of those things got done just because I started collecting the addresses. I asked all of our parents for them. I haven't received all of them, but I've asked. And so now I need to go through the effort of putting them up into the website. And then we also still need to do some finishing touches on the guest list. Both of those things have gotten moved to April. All right, the next one on the list was to set up our website, and I colored this one in a little bit, but not all the way. I set up the website. I picked a platform and I have it set up, and I have the easy information, the date and the location in there, but I haven't done anything else. I haven't added any of the stories, any of the bridal party, any of that stuff. I figured that will become a goal when I have to actually mail the save the dates, and I think that's gonna be May's goal. I know technically it is a destination wedding and you're supposed to send them a year in advance, but I think sending them in May for a May 1st wedding is probably fine. At least I hope it's fine because it's not happening in April. Now, I know I can send and save the dates without the website being done. Like, they can go back and check those things later, but I at least want to have a little bit more than what I have right now. All right, the next one was to do my February memory keeping, and this one did not get done either. I don't remember when this was scheduled for and what I ended up doing instead, but it was just something that I wasn't motivated or excited to do. And then I decided I was gonna film it, which makes it a bigger thing instead of just me sitting at my desk. I did get the pictures printed before, like when we were still going to the store. So that's good, that's done, but I still haven't done it because I still want to film it, and that's just a whole process. So that is also getting moved to April. The next one was to do the day in the life. That I did do. Not only did I participate, which was good because it was at the very beginning of the month, and then I did it that following weekend. So that project I was done. I talked all about it. I showed it in a weekly vlog if you want to see what that turned out like. All right, the next one was to get my daily petite for quarter 2 coiled, and I ended up crossing that off because I couldn't go to Office Max anymore. I didn't get it done in time, and it's closed. Office Max is closed. I actually don't know if they're closed, but that's not essential. I'm not going. So then I crossed it off and put that I'm going to set up the folio and just do it in folio form instead of coiled form, which I'm not excited about. I actually did not get that done. I colored it in part of the way because I put the 4 books that I'm going to use in the folio. But that's the easy part. And now I actually need to set it up and add the paper clips and set it up so that I actually am going to use it. I'm not excited about using it in folio form. I am gonna miss my coiled petite so badly, but it has made me so much more productive, and I need that structure right now. So I'm gonna use it in the folio, even though I'm not excited about it. And then the last monthly item was to declutter, document my dresser and my closet, and I actually did that. I did both of those things. That was the benefit of being home, and somehow I found the motivation to do both of those things. I haven't quite finished the documentation of the closet because I haven't been able to get the pictures printed. We actually do have a printer now. Sam bought a printer for work, but I want to just get them printed cheaply at the drugstore once I can go back to the drugstore. I mean, I can go, it's open, but that's not essential. I'm not gonna do it right now. So I did clean out the closet and I documented the items in the binder, but I still need to get the pictures printed and put those in the binder too. I went ahead and gave myself credit for it though. All right, the weekly action items. They did not go very well. So the first one was the friend directory info, and I thought that it would be better if I broke this down over the course of the month and did it a little bit each week. I didn't even do it at all. I didn't even start typing anything in. So that one is definitely getting moved to April, and I'm gonna approach it a little bit differently, which we'll talk about when we get to April. Not as big of a priority right now. The next one is the book club. I did a really bad job with this too. And it's not that I didn't read in March, I just read other things. So I am moving the book club to April, although I'm not totally feeling it, if I'm being completely honest with you. And I feel like I'm moving it over because I started it, and I am a super good starter and not a great finisher a lot of the times. I'm so bad at finishing things. I even have a pencil that my mom got me that says my unfinished projects pencil. I am just very bad at starting things and not finishing them, and so I feel like I have to finish it. I just feel like I need to. I don't know. I moved it to April. We'll see. And then the next two were YouTube related, both to get the videos up 24 hours in advance and then to document the time that it took me to edit. And I did a decent job of this. I, for the most part, was on top of the videos and they got up 24 hours in advance. And then the last 2 weeks of March, I even did 5 videos a week instead of 3. So that was really great. I felt like I could. I had the ideas and the energy to produce that content, and I felt like it was really valuable for people who are at home right now to have that additional content. And then as far as editing time, I was off and on. A lot of times I just forgot. I just forgot to start tracking the time, and I would get into editing and I just forgot to turn it on. So I kind of wanted to carry that over because I am still interested to get a little bit more data in terms of how long it takes me to edit videos, but it's not a super big priority right now, so maybe in the future. All right, the daily action items. They were not so great. Let's start with the 21-day sugar detox. That started strong. I was so excited about it and it was going so well until the day that somebody told me that New York was going to lock down and you needed to make a run to the grocery store. And now in retrospect, we did not need to do that, because while yes, we have now a shelter in place or whatever you want to call it where we're supposed to stay home, the grocery store is still open. So I don't know. I didn't need to do it the day that I did it, but the day that I did it, I sort of had a panic and I went and I grabbed whatever I could. The shelves were pretty bare, so I got what I could, a lot of which had added sugar. And so I basically that day, which was the 13th, decided that I was done. That I was going to be done with the sugar detox and I was going to attempt it another time because this was not the right time. And truthfully, in retrospect, I probably could have pushed a little bit longer. from a practicality standpoint. However, mentally, I'm glad that I didn't try, because the fact that I could fall back on some food and drinks that really bring me comfort, and like, that's not necessarily good. Turning to food for comfort isn't always the greatest answer or option, but right now I needed it. I needed chocolate and I needed wine, and it is what it is. So I am excited about the 14 days of the detox that I did do, and I learned a lot, and I feel like it did really help, and it made me want to try it again in the future, but I didn't finish it in March. The other 3 daily goals I set for March did not go well. So the first one was to work on the one little word project, and my attempt was to journal once a day and write about something that I love, and I think I did it like 6 times total. It just is what it is, and I thought about going back and trying to backfill them, and it just didn't feel right, and so that's just what it's gonna be. And for my one little word for 2020, March was crazy, and I did it like 6 times, and that it just is what it is. And I'm trying to just let it go and not worry about it, instead of like hold it over me. I'm gonna turn the page, so to speak, and just keep moving with the one little word project in April. The next one was to not touch my phone in the morning until after I worked out. And part of the problem was I didn't work out as much in March as I had been, because I couldn't go to the gym anymore, and I'm not super motivated to work out at home. And then part of it was, it felt like when I woke up in the morning, I needed to check my phone and I needed to see what was going on in the world, and that may not have necessarily been true, but that's just how I was acting. So I'm super disappointed in how this goal went. So I am moving this one to April as well, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to April. All right, the next one was to shower first. So as soon as I was done working out, to just immediately get in the shower and not dilly-dally. And I did okay with this when I did work out. It didn't look like there's a whole lot of checks because I didn't work out a whole lot, so there wasn't the opportunity to do this. But when I did work out, I did a pretty good job of this. I'm not carrying this over to April because, again, I think it was ingrained enough that when I did work out, I did do it. So I'm still gonna keep trying to do it. I'm just not tracking it anymore. And then I added one daily action item for March that I didn't do well with either, and that was to go walk outside. Once I knew that I was working from home for the foreseeable future, I added a goal to go outside and get some fresh air, and I didn't do a good job of that. So that's something I'm still working on. I'm not adding it to my April goals because that is one that is really specific to the situation. There are a lot of my April goals that I feel like are better given the situation, but something I still could have seen myself working on regardless. That one is super specific, and if a miracle happens and in a week or two into April we're not in this situation, I wouldn't have wanted to have that on my power sheet. So something, again, I am still working on, but not carrying over to April. I am so ready to be done with March. Let's move on to April. Fresh set of quarterly goals. Again, if you didn't see that video, I would recommend going to watch the quarterly goals video because this one will make a lot more sense with that one. But here are the things that I have set for April. So let's start with the encouraging words. Right before I worked on my power sheets, I was watching the movie The Princess Diaries. I just love that movie. It makes me so happy. It just, I don't know, gives me all kinds of warm, fuzzy feelings, and it makes me laugh, and it brings back so many memories from when I was little, and it's just great. And so the encouraging words I chose this month are straight from that movie, and it is, courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important. I Googled, obviously, before I did this, and there was a lot of differing sources on who actually said this first, so I didn't include a source. I just took the lines from the movie, which the internet gave credit to Meg Cabot, the author of the book, but there were also some things that said it was Nelson Mandela, some said it was FDR, so I just left it. But I really like this quote for this time that we're in because I think everybody is just a little bit afraid right now, some more than others, and everybody's fears are different and valid. And I have fears right now. And so I just wanted something on my power sheets to remind me that courage is not the absence of fear, but the judgment that something else is more important. And so for me, I want to remember that all these goals that I've set, all these things that I want to work on are important, and they are more important than my fears about this situation. And even though I have so many fears and I would love to just curl up into a ball, there was a point last week where I just literally lost it, and I was like, I just want to curl up into a ball and hide under the covers until this is done. But I'm stronger than that, and I have courage, and I can push through those fears, and quotes are going to help remind me to do that. And then for my top priority for April, I wrote the word rest. So I talk about this a little bit more when we get to the calendar section of this, where I actually break it down. But I have built a lot more margin into my calendar for the month of April. I have added a lot more just like relaxing time and nothing time. And what's funny is normally I leave nothing time because I assume things are going to get scheduled, like a birthday party or a happy hour or whatever, and things need to get moved around. That's unlikely to happen for April, truthfully. That nothing time is going to be nothing time at home with my fiance and my cat. And that's okay. I want to have that time to rest. I want to watch a movie. I want to play a game. I want to play with my Legos. But I wanted to write myself in big bold letters on the top of my power sheets that that is the priority, and to take this time to rest and relax. That way, when we do have to shift back to whatever the new normal is after this is all over, I don't feel super drained. All right, let's get to the action items. So starting with the monthly ones, the first one is my apartment related goal, and that is to create and organize my use what you have list. So I elaborated on this in the quarterly video, but my goal for Q2 is to use what I have in my apartment. So it's a way of decluttering by using up what we've got. And so there are a lot of things that fall into this category: stickers, skincare, nail polish, which is great since I can't go get my nails done. All kinds of things are falling into this category. And so in April, what I want to do is first start off by just making the list and like detailing out all the things that are on the list, and then organizing those things. I've set a lot of hours aside for this one particular task, and it is going to be organizing my stickers. It's going to be organizing my tea stash, maybe organizing my candles by season. It's going to be taking all these things that I want to use up in second quarter and having them all be organized and ready to be used. All right, the next two are my memory keeping goals. So the first one is a carryover from March, and that is to do my February memory keeping. I also have March memory keeping on my calendar. So starting with second quarter, the monthly memory keeping is just going to be in my calendar. It's going to be something that's ongoing. It's not going to be a goal anymore. It's just going to be built in. However, I'm not sure if the March memory keeping is going to happen because I got my March memory keeping kit sent to my office. I forgot to change the address before it shipped out, or it shipped out before I was really sure if I wasn't going back to the office. Regardless, it's at the office. And so I don't know when I'm gonna get that again. So I might not be doing March in April either. But it's not really on my goals. It's just something that I'm building into my calendar at this point. And then the next one is to organize the 2019 photos. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get them printed during this month, and then therefore I won't be able to make any progress on the actual memory keeping. So the goal for April is just to get them organized on my phone, ready to send to get printed. My 2019 system was a little bit different than my 2020 in terms of memory keeping. So the size of the photos is different, and I want to go through and list out all the things I want to memory keep in 2019, and then go through my phone and get all the photos organized and get the collages made. So that way, when this is all done and when I can go to the drugstore for non-essential things like photos getting printed, I can just click submit and send them to get printed. All right, the next two are my wedding related goals, and these are direct carryovers from March, and that is to finalize the guest list and order the save the dates. Pretty self-explanatory. I didn't do it last month and we need to get it done this month. But if we do that, I think I will feel really good about our progress. And if we can, while we're in there, make some updates to the website, that would be great too. All right, the next two are my Plan with Lakin related goals. And the first one is my February and my March analytics. So February is obviously a carryover from last month, and then March is new. Similar to the memory keeping though, I'd actually already had the March analytics built into my calendar. Like, it was already scheduled in there. It doesn't have to come from my goal time. So I probably didn't even really need to put it on my goal sheet, but I decided to just go ahead and put both of them together so that, I don't know why I did it. I don't really have a good reason, truthfully. The next one is to take 2 content classes. So my Q2 goal for Plan with Lakin is to create more consistency on other platforms besides just YouTube. And so I have signed up for 2 different content courses. One of them is through the content planner, and I'm super excited about it. It is a set time, like it is a live class. It's 4 hours and it's set. And so it's next weekend, and I'm really excited. I have heard so many good things about her in-person workshops, and I'm so excited that she brought it digitally for this current time. She is still hoping to come to New York later this year, and I do want to go to an in-person one as well, but this is a great time, and knowing she was doing this class was kind of one of the big reasons I made my Q2 goal to work on my content on other platforms. It just sort of went really well together. So that's one of the classes. The other class is from Amber Housley, who I met at Cultivate Your Year Live, and she has an online content course that is like a work at your own pace, and I think it's like maybe six sessions. She released it maybe like a month ago, and I started working through it in real time when she released it. She was doing like a Facebook group where everybody was working through it, but it was the week that I went to Texas. Yeah, so I guess it was like over a month ago. It was the week I went to Texas, and so I stopped doing it in real time. So I've done the first 2 lessons. I'm gonna go back and do them again, but I just felt like this was the perfect time to do that content course while I'm at home and while working on my content is my overarching goal. All right, the next one is my mental health related goal, which is to spend less time on social media. And I'm starting small, kind of, with one day in April that I'm gonna not go on social media. I have not decided what date that's gonna be. Part of me feels like it should be a weekend, not a weekday. It's not gonna be a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday because I want to be able to respond to YouTube comments. So it's either gonna be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. That's a lot of days. I don't know yet. I have not decided which day I'm gonna go completely social media free, but in April, I'm gonna pick one day to go totally social media free, and then I'm hoping to work up to 1 per week. So my goal, April, I'm gonna do 1, I think May, I'm gonna do 2, and then in June, I'm gonna try to do 1 per week. All right, the next one is a health related goal, kind of, and that is to just finish the book club. Because the book is health related, it's called Made to Crave. I gave it the health related sticker. It could be a lot of different colors, but I want to finish it. Like I talked about earlier, I feel like I need to finish it. Obviously, the actual book club has already had all the discussions, but the Facebook group is still there, and I can still go in and respond to the questions, even though I'm doing it like a month late. And then the last one is the friendship related, and that is to work on the friend directory info. And what I mean here is I just want to spend 1 hour filling in what I do know. I'm not going out to ask my friends yet. This is not the time to hound them with questions about their favorite flowers. What I want to do right now is just fill in what I do know. So dates that I know, kids' names, stuff like that, like stuff that I know the answer to. For some of them, it could be like their favorite color, but the ones I know the answers to, I'm gonna go ahead and fill it in. And maybe as we go throughout the month, I'll be able to fill in some of that information. But for this particular one, I'm not requiring all the information to be filled to color this in. All I wanna do is spend an hour filling in what I know, and then I'm gonna get credit for what's on my power sheets. All right, let's move into the weekly goals. I don't have a ton of weekly goals this month because for me, weekly goals are just hard. I've talked about this in prior videos, but weekly goals always feel kind of weird for me. I don't know. I've never really been able to find a groove with them, but I have 2 for this month. The first one is to do a face mask and take a bubble bath. And I gave this the use what I have color because I'm trying to use up my face masks that I have. But this also very easily could have been mental health, and that's just sitting in the bubble bath. And I should add on this, don't take your phone with you. That was a big one for last year. I had phone-free bubble baths on a lot of my tending lists, but this is just something I'm gonna try to do weekly. This is one of those things that right now, mentally, I think I need this to get through this time. So I'm setting aside an hour a week to do a face mask, take a bubble bath, and like take some me time. And then the other weekly action item I have is to just FaceTime with a friend. And the planner in me wants to schedule this and wants to like schedule time with a friend. But the non-planner in me is like, no, just let it happen organically. And when you have time to chat with a friend, if you're texting back and forth, like just FaceTime them. I did last week, I FaceTimed with a friend while I was cooking, and it was so perfect because we were talking and I could go and look at her if I was like chopping something, but then if I had to walk away, it was fine. I'm not getting super picky about which friend or how much time or what day of the week. I just want to try and make sure that I see a face of a friend at least once a week in the month of April. And this is one of those goals that I felt like could have been a goal without the situation that we're in, because friendship was an overarching goal for me this year. But at the same time, it feels really right for it to be a goal right now because of the situation that we're in, and because how much more comfortable and willing and excited people are to FaceTime now than they have been ever. Like, it is so incredible right now how much more I'm seeing my friends that don't live in New York than I used to, which is crazy because our friendships like from a literal day-to-day standpoint, haven't changed. We weren't seeing each other anyways. We didn't live in the same place. But because we all want more human contact, we're FaceTiming each other. And that is one of the biggest positives to come out of the situation from my experience and in my opinion. And so I'm excited that this gets to be a goal and it doesn't feel as weird because we've already been doing it for the past few weeks because of the situation that we're in. All right, the daily action items. The first one is to have a cup of tea every day. And I didn't specify whether I want it to be in the morning or during the day or at night. I'm just gonna kind of how I feel and have a cup that is appropriate for each of those times. I have a lot of tea to get through, both black caffeinated and non-caffeinated herbal teas. So whatever time of day it works, I just wanna have at least 1 cup of tea a day. And then if we get towards the end of the day and I haven't checked it off, then I will just have it in the evenings, which really coincides with the fact that an evening routine is one of my quarterly goals for this quarter. But if I have a cup of tea in the morning or during the day while I'm working, I'm still gonna get credit for it. The goal of this is really to work through my tea stash and use the tea that I have. All right, the next one is related to my evening routine goal, and that is to read in the evenings. We have been watching a lot of TV, and that's not gonna stop given the situation. Like, it's just not gonna stop. But I want to try and be better about reading right before I fall asleep versus watching TV. I'm not gonna say that we're not gonna watch TV in bed, although maybe we should maybe make that a rule, like try and bring the Apple TV out here and only watch TV out here. We're trying to watch all of the Marvel movies right now, and so I still want to watch TV in the evenings, and so we could watch it, and then at a certain time, even if we're not done with the movie, turn it off and go into the bedroom and I can read. And if he wants to keep watching something, that's fine, but I'm gonna cut it off and try and read before bed. I'm really gonna try and do this more for now in April, just on the weekdays. Like, that's the goal, is just to do it on the weekdays. That will feel successful. All right, the next daily action item is the only one I'm carrying over from March, and that is not to touch my phone in the morning until after I've worked out. Last month, it got the color of the morning routine. This month, it's getting the color of spending less time on social media, because as a result of not checking my phone until after I work out, I will spend less time on social media over the course of the day. Yes, I wanna know what's going on and I wanna be updated as soon as I wake up in the morning, but is that really necessary? Is it okay for me to spend, it's 2 hours. That's the amount of time between the time that I wake up and I do my whole morning routine and I read and etc. and then I work out and then I shower and then I check my phone. Like, that is 2 hours. Yes, things are changing every single day, but I think I can wait 2 hours to find out about whatever. And truthfully, Sam will probably check his phone. So if there is something life world changing that I need to know first thing in the morning, he will probably tell me. But for me, I think it's okay and probably better for me to stay off my phone until after I work out. I'm also kind of hoping it's going to motivate me to work out. And the rule should be if I don't work out, I don't get to check my phone the whole day, but like, I'm not going to do that. Let's be honest. All right, the next daily action item is to eat 1 vegetable. At least 1. Obviously, I would like to eat more than 1 vegetable. And originally, the goal was gonna be to eat a vegetable with breakfast. And that is like the dream goal. Over the course of this quarter, I would like to be a little bit more health conscious. This is probably the one quarterly goal that I didn't do a super good job of taking into consideration the current situation that we're in. Because we're not trying to go to the grocery store as much, the amount of fresh food that we have in our house is a lot less than it normally is. And so while I wanted it to be have a vegetable with breakfast, for now it's going to be just have 1 vegetable a day, because I know that there have been days the past few weeks that I didn't have a vegetable. Okay, and then my last daily action item is, again, one of these things that probably could have been a goal without the situation, but I'm really leaning into it given what's going on right now, and that is to check in on a friend. So I would like to text a friend and just say, hey, how are you doing? How are things holding up? And just check in on them. And I do have friends that I talk to every day, but I'm thinking more the friends that I don't talk to on a regular basis. And I did actually talk to a lot of them last week when it was my birthday, because a lot of those people reach out and wish me happy birthday. But I want to check back in and say, hey, how are you doing now? How are things? Like, how are you holding up? So that is one of those goals that I probably always wanted to make a goal this year, was to do a daily check-in with a friend. Like, when I, at the very beginning of the year, realized how important friendship was to me, it kept showing up in my Power Sheets prep work, and I knew I wanted to make it a priority this year. I don't think in a million years I would have predicted that this was how it was going to shape up, and that having this situation was going to essentially force me to really focus on my communication with my friends. But I'm kind of thankful that it is. And I don't mean that like I'm thankful for the situation. Obviously, it's an awful situation and a lot of people are suffering greatly because of the situation. But when it comes to looking for the silver lining and looking for the positives, the fact that we are all communicating more than we ever have, and we are all reaching out to friends and family a lot more than we were, is just great. And I think that that is a huge benefit of what's going on. All right, now let's flip to top-down mode so that I can get these all mapped out in the calendar. All right, now that all the goals are set, I need to get them into the calendar. So I did a whole video talking about my planning system, how I plan my life from start to finish, that talks about how I get these hours broken down by day, like how I plan out my month so that I know how many hours in my schedule I have to work on my goals. So if you're interested in that video, go check that out. If you already watched that video, I will tell you that for April, I built in more rest time. I built in a lot more margin. Before all of this craziness happened, I was having my evenings end at 9 p.m. and that's when I would start my like wind down. And then my weekend, sometimes I would go till 7 or 8. During this sort of crazy time where I felt like I needed some more time to rest and relax, I have my calendar set so that my evening stuff on the weekdays are done by 8. That's Monday through Thursday. Friday, I have nothing for Fridays. For Friday, we're just gonna relax and like recuperate from the week. And then on the weekends, I have everything ending at 6. So even though we have no plans for April because everything has been canceled, because I built in that rest time, the number of hours I ended up with April was 31, that actually has been pretty average. So that makes me feel good that I'm still like making progress on my goals, but while building in this extra rest time right now. So this is sort of how all the hours are laid out. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put the goals into the hours. So let's start with the weekly stuff. So my face mask and bubble bath, I'm gonna do that. Let's just do it Wednesdays. Let's just do that consistently. I don't know why I wrote a B. Face mask is what I meant. Bubble bath. And we'll just do that on the Wednesday hour. That sounds good. All right. And then the first thing I really want to do is this what to use list. I want to get that like done so that I can start working on using it. So I'm going to do that first on that Thursday. And then I really want to finish up my February analytics. That's just something I feel like I need to get done. So let's do that here. I might go ahead and break this book club up to a weekly thing. I put it as a monthly thing because doing it weekly didn't really work well for me last month, but I might just go ahead and try that and do that on Tuesdays. Do that here. Okay, back to the list. Let's see. So let's get the guest list done. Let's do that here. I'm going to do 2 hours of organization. I'm going to start making progress on that. I'm going to break that 12 hours, which seems like a lot. I get that, but like on this list is going to be things like my stickers and my tea stash and my face mask stash and all that kind of stuff. And I want to spend time organizing it. So basically I did all the other hours and then the remainder of it went into this 12 hours of organization, but I'm going to break that up over the course of the month. So I'm going to start that there. All right. This 1 hour, I'm going to do some of the save the date work. And then I'm gonna finish it down here. This hours, I'm gonna do the other content class. So I had on there, like I talked about, I'm doing 2 content classes. One I've already just put into my schedule because it's at a set time. And like I said, one is where I work through it on my own. So that's gonna be this one. I'm gonna split it up into 2 hours on Saturday and 2 hours on Sunday. All right, I also did not do my math right at all. This is not 12 hours. This is only gonna end up being 9. I think I hadn't done this yet, these 5 hours. And then giving my friend directory, oh, that still doesn't add up. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this actually only leaves me with 7 hours here. Okay, maybe the book club, I'm only gonna give 2 hours. And then I just need to use some of my other reading time, my other downtime to get through the book club. And then friend directory, I'm only gonna do 1 hour. If I do that, that leaves me 10 hours for organization. Okay, so the book club, I will just do those first 2 days and then we'll do some organization here. We'll do some organization here. See, I want to do the friend directory stuff earlier in the month. Okay, so maybe I'm going to move this. I'm going to put the friend directory here and then move the book club to here and to here. Okay, we'll start work on the photos here. So we'll do 2 hours of this and 2 hours of this. And then I'll finish the photos here, which leaves this for organization and this for organization. How many hours is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, perfect. I think that's it. This is a mess. I'm not usually trying to be super fancy with this page. I'm just trying to get it scheduled. All right, that is it. That's how April is shaping out. Some of these things I'm really excited about. Some of them are just carryover from March, and truthfully, I'm not all that excited about, but I need them to be done, or I want them to be done, so I'm gonna check them off. But some of these things I am really excited about. The content classes I'm really excited about, and all the time with my friends I'm really excited about. So it's just a balance. Right now, it's really hard. And I talked about this a lot in the roadblocks video, but you just have to focus on what you can control and what is important to you right now, which can be so different than what you thought it was going to be. It probably is so different than you thought it was going to be, and that's okay. And I hope that you can find some excitement in your goals this month. And normally we talk about what we achieved last month, but truthfully, like, I think we're all ready to put March behind us. So I want you to let me know in the comments, what is one thing that you are looking forward to doing in April? It doesn't even have to be a goal if you don't want it to be, but tell me one thing that you're excited about in April. And it might be hard to think of something. I probably would have said Go Wild. I was really looking forward to meeting a lot of you and going to Go Wild, and it's really sad that it is no longer happening this month. But there are still things in April that I am looking forward to, and I hope there are things that you're looking forward to as well. Please let me know in the comments what that is. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you so much for watching. Happy planning. All of the, my face is super itchy and I'm not supposed to be touching my face. Ugh. The picture's pictured. What is that noise? That's actually not even true. That's a lie, don't say that. And then for my top priority for April,